Good morning all, welcome back to Sew Granny Sew. We are all set now. I got our new furnace put in. The house is warmed up. I got a shower. I'm all good to go. I took a nap after everything was done and I woke up at midnight. So here I am and we are going to work on our window quilt. So we are at the point we have it sewn, our stripes sewn together. We have the backing and the batting pinned together with it. We are ready to do the stitch in the ditch. So we are going to go on over to the sewing machine and get that started. Okay, on our quilt, I know you can't see it here, but we are going to start at the top of the quilt. Now normally you would start in the middle, but I think because of the way I have it placed together with the longer end on the backing being at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and start at the top and get that first row done. So we're just going to put this on. I did get my foot switched out. So we have the walking foot on here now. If you don't have the walking foot, you can still do this with your regular foot. For those of you that, have the simpler machines that don't have the walking foot. So when you got your walking foot on, and go ahead, and I am just going to go right at the edge of this because we're going to go in the ditch on the rest. So I'm just going to right at the edge. And I'm going to stitch that into place just so it holds good for the binding. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that's laying nice and flat. And I just put mine on a 1.8. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so once you get down to this edge here, you can turn it and go this way, and then just keep turning your quilt to go back, go like this and go back and forth. However, mine, I don't think it's going to be able to do that because of the fact I have such a small neck on my sewing machine. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, cut it free, and then we're going to start over at the other end on the next row. So when you're doing stitch in the ditch, you want to kind of make sure your fabric's pulled out a little bit, making sure everything lays nice and flat, basically. You're going to pull your needle down and make sure you're right in that ditch. Your ditch is right where that seam is. So if you space it out or spread it just a little bit, you'll be sure to get right in that seam. But you do want to make sure when you do that, that you are laying nice and flat, both front and back. Otherwise, you'll get a pucker in there. I've got one more row done there. We'll go ahead and take it off and start over at the beginning again. I'm using a cotton poly batting, and that only requires to be quilted in every 10-inch space. So I'm going as simple as possible with this. Okay, so at this point, when it starts getting too bulky, you can start rolling up your fabric. And that is what I usually tend to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these rows done. Down to the end, I will bring it back and we will start getting ready to put the binding on. So I went ahead and I did the stitch in the ditch all the way up to this last edge, and I did not do that. So that's a view of what it looks on the back, just straight lines across the back, which is fine. So on this side, I didn't stitch that in yet because my length of this, and it's good to leave that open until the end for this back, but my length of this, once I got it all stitched in, of course it shortens when you put the quilting in. It comes up to 70 3/4, so I need it to be 72. So I am just going to fold this over to however wide I need it, and fold it again and stitch that on. Because then it's multiple layers on there still with some batting, but it also will give me that added length to it. So we're going to go. Okay, so we have got that bottom attached. I made sure I had that black stripe there included in the stitching. So that's the back. So now we need to trim up these sides. We measured this front piece and we know for sure that that is going to be wide enough. So we're gonna trim off according to the front of the quilt. We'll be trimming some of the batting and the backing away, but we just want to make sure that we are right along that edge on both sides, left and right of this quilt. Okay, so we have that all trimmed up now. So now we are going to work on cutting out the binding strips. So we just measured, we know that it's 72 long and 39 wide. So in order to get the correct figure for our binding, for the length of it, we need it to be 72 plus 72 for the two sides and 39 plus 39 for the top and bottom. So we're just going to add the 72 and 72 and then 39 and 39. So 222 inches, so we'll probably make ours about 225 to give us a little leeway. And all I'm going to do for that, because we did use those other bigger pieces, so I'm just going to go ahead and make mine a solid block. So I am just going to cut out 1.5 inch strips in the solid black. And because our fabric, once we get the selvage off, is 43 wide, we're going to take our 222 and divide that by 43 to come up with how many strips we need. We're going to need 6 strips of 1.5 inch wide for that measurement. Yours may be different. So I'll go ahead and I will get this laid out. Then we'll just go on this side and we'll measure out 1.5 and just start cutting away. Okay, so that makes our total of 6 strips. We are going to go ahead and put them together end to end. Go ahead and trim up those selvages. Pin them together, and then we're going to take a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so we have all of our, and I just chain stitch mine like I do with everything, chain stitching. We're just going to go ahead and take these apart. Okay, so now we have one continuous long piece. So we are ready to start ironing this. So I'm going to snip off this last little bit of selvage here. So all we're going to do is fold this in half, wrong sides together, and that'll be our first iron. So we'll go ahead for the whole length of this and fold it in half and iron it flat. Okay, and once you get to the intersection of the pieces you sewed together, we're just going to open that seam up and iron that flat. For one thing, it feels like -24 right now here in Minnesota, and I want to hurry up and get this done and get it hung up. And we are so close to being done with it right now. So we'll just keep working along. So I'll get this finished up, and then I will bring you back here. So I have all my binding done here. So when we get it all done, we are going to flip our window quilt to the back side. And we are just going to take our binding, put your binding on. You're just going to line it up with the edge. I like to start mine away from the corner. That way you're not biting the corner of the quilt as well as the connection of where you're putting the binding at. So I'm just going to fold that one over a little bit. We'll pin that down. And then we're just going to line it up as we go along. A few of them to get it started with, a few of the pins. That way when you're transporting it to your sewing machine or when you start sewing, it's not going crooked on you. So I just do it like that. You're going to put a 1/4 inch seam all the way along, all the way around. So I'm going to bring it over to the sewing machine and we'll go ahead and get this started, and I'll show you how to do the corner when we approach that. You can put on with this one. You can use your regular 1/4 inch foot or whatever foot you have. You just want to do that 1/4 inch. Then we're going to go ahead and drop our needle down once you have it where you need it to be. Drop that needle down, drop that foot down. I am sewing mine on a 1.6 stitch length. So it's the smaller the better. I leave this on the roll like this and just take it off as I'm using it. That way you're not biting it underneath your feet and so forth. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to back stitch a little bit and then we'll just keep sewing. Okay, I didn't point that out. When you start this, you do want to go down a ways. I went down probably a little more than I normally do. But you want to leave this loose so you can connect them together at the other end when the time comes to connect them. So make sure you leave, I don't know, about 1 inch to 2 inches loose. When you get down to the corner, you're going to sew up to 1/4 inch away from this edge. So we're going to go ahead and put that down. If you want to measure that out, you certainly could and make a little mark on there. So you know where. So we'll go ahead and sew up to that 1/4 inch away from and then we'll do some back stitch and we will take it off and turn it the other way. So now that we have that cut loose, we're going to take our binding. We're going to fold it up this way. So you're at a 90-degree angle there. And then you're going to go to the edge of your fabric and you're going to fold it back down this way. And line that up with this bottom edge. We'll pin that into place so we don't lose where that's at. And then once again, we'll start sewing at 1/4 inch there. And we'll go down this side. We'll go ahead and do that back stitching to start off with. So then as you can see, when you unfold it, then it just flips around to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this up and get all the corners done. When I get back to the conjunction, then I will bring you back to show you how we splice the two pieces together. Okay, so now we are just a couple inches away from where they were doing together. So you're going to go a little bit past that and you're going to cut that off. See how that got that one folded over? You're going to cut that off just enough to fold this piece over as well. So I just fold it like this, where you got it laying flat and cut on that. So you know it's somewhat straight. And then you're going to go ahead and take that pin out. You're going to lift those up and fold them to one way or the other so they line up nice and tight. And then we'll go ahead and continue sewing. And we now have it firmly attached. So I will meet you back at the table to show you how we're going to flip it around and get it pinned into place. So we have the binding attached to the back side of the quilt. But before we move forward, we need to discuss the Velcro or magnetic strip or however you want to attach yours. So I am going to, because I used my most of my sticky stuff of the loop, because you have hook and loop on Velcro. So your loop is your soft, your hook is your back, it's harder. So I use most of my hook on the sticky stuff on my door frame. So I'm gonna use the loop stuff on my window frame, and so I'm gonna sew the hook stuff onto the quilt backing. So you want to know that ahead of time, what you're using. The sticky stuff you'll need to put on the frame itself. If you want to get just one kind, because they do come hook and loop when you purchase them. If you want to do just one kind and you don't mind, like a hot glue or something, you could always hot glue it onto the window frame or the door frame, whatever you're using. I wanted this sticky stuff because it peels off good. It holds well, but it will peel off. So that is what I'm doing. Now, when I was looking on Amazon to see if I could find a link for those who don't have the Velcro handy, I also come across this new stuff. It's a magnetic strip. That's not the new part, but they have a metal strip as well. It's like a full metal. It's not actual metal, and it bends and everything, you know, curves around and stuff. So it's shapeable. Perfect for putting on a quilt for a window or a door. It would give an airtight seal, basically. I mean, your fabric's not airtight, but it would give an airtight seal on with the connecting of the magnetic part. But when I first thought of magnets, I was thinking, well, how am I going to wash it? It's going to stick to your washer, obviously. But this, you could just make little, with that metal, you could just make little loops or little pockets in your quilt backing and drop a piece of the metal in. Or if you wanted to do a whole thing like a curtain top, a hem, you could just slide the metal loops or metal strips in there and take them out when you wash them. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I did list both the sticky and non-sticky in the description for you, the Velcro. And I did also list the metal and the magnetic strip from the one company. You may find it cheaper. I would just look through Amazon, especially if you don't have Prime for the free shipping. You want to look at the shipping costs as well. But I did list them down there for you, so you can check that out if you don't have yours already. So we are going to get started on this. And because I am putting the soft on here, I'm going to put the hard on here. So I like these smaller sizes. However, this is only 30 inches. Same with this one here. So that's only 60 inches. And this is 12 inches. So there's not much there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my hook side of the sew-on Velcro cut down. I'm going to cut that right down the center the long way. So we got enough to go around the whole quilt. So I'll get that cut down. I'll get everything ready to go. And then I will meet you back here to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, for some reason that didn't record when I did all this part. So I'll show you down here. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold that over, making sure to cover up that seam we put in by sewing the back on, that stitching. So you're just going to fold that over. Put your Velcro hidden behind the front side. And we are going to throw a clip in there. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way along. And I will show you this corner here quick. So when you get to the corner, you're going to fold that under on both sides. And you're just going to make yourself a nice corner there. Now, if you want a perfectly mitered corner, that's up to you. You can sit there and fidget with it until it totally lines up to that 45-degree angle. I'm not real concerned with that, but that's how you would do it if you want that. And then you're just going to throw that on there. Pin that side. And then make sure this is all tucked under nicely. And you're going to pin it again at this side. If you have a little gap in there like that, that's not a big deal at all. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this all pinned together, and then I will meet you at the sewing machine to show you how we are going to sew it together. So we're going to go ahead and get started sewing this together. And I just got some of it pinned. I don't have it all the way pinned yet. I'm going to show you how to sew this together. And then I'm going to finish it up after that. I did it this way so I could move the tripod aside to give me more room for the quilt to fall after I sew it. So we're just going to go ahead and we need to sew right along this edge here to make sure we tuck in, keep that black tucked in. And we may need to go back and sew a second round of that Velcro, but I don't think we're going to need to. So we're just going to make sure we worry about that edge to ensure that we get that stitched down properly. So we'll go ahead, drop our needle, drop our presser foot, and start sewing. Okay, so when you get to the corner, you can go ahead and hold that in place and get down to that end. And I sew all the way to the end and then back to where you need to turn off. Okay, and then you're just going to lift up your presser foot and turn that. Back side looks like on the Velcro. So if you wanted, you could certainly go around a second time to hold that down better, especially when you go to launder it, that'll hold it in place much better. So I am going to go ahead and we'll go down a little ways this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to go around, finish this first time around, and then I'm going to do a second time around. So I'll get that done, and then I'll meet you back here, and we will take a look at this, and then we'll get that Velcro put onto the window frame. Okay, as you can see, we got our Velcro put on. I did go ahead and make 2 rounds with it, so we had a good hold on both sides of it. So when you launder it, then that way it won't come out. So our next move is to go to the dining room window and start putting our Velcro on our window frame. So I will meet you there. Okay, here's the dining room window. I just pulled the curtains open a little bit. So as you can see, I'm going to let you see how it's blowing back and forth, that plastic. That's how much breeze comes through this window. This is why we need to make a window quilt for it. So we're going to go ahead and get it set up so you can watch and see how to adhere the Velcro onto the window frame itself along the outer edge. So I'll get that set up and we'll get started. Okay, so I really don't have any strips. I got about this much of a bunch of little stuff that I can utilize for this. But I do have a couple strips. So we're going to start with a couple strips. I don't know if we're going to get all the way around this, but I will get enough around it that it holds for the time being until I can get some more Velcro. So you're just going to remove that backing from the sticky part. You're just going to line that up with the outer edge of the window and stick it on. It's that simple. And you'll just keep following that all the way around the window. You do want to make sure it's good and it adhered to it. So if you got a little curve, just put a snip in your Velcro so it sticks proper. And you'll just keep working your way up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep working on all 4 corners at least. And I'm going to go until I run out of the Velcro. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put that up and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. So all the edges fit nice and firmly around it, as you can see. Perfect to the window. The bottom, however, I miscalculated because I originally put the Velcro down to go underneath there. So it has the length of that. But I'm going to end up having to put it, I did get a little bit of Velcro here. A couple pieces for now. But I am going to have to get some more Velcro and get that more firmly attached onto that. And then it doesn't, I have to get some to go under the windowsill right here. I do got a piece here, but not on the bottom, so it's not airtight there. So I can feel a little bit of a breeze, but as you can see, as it's pushing out, there is definitely stopping a breeze. So I'm going to go ahead and close the curtains, and we'll see what it looks like underneath the shears. So you can see stripes when they're further open, like on the right side here, but on the left side, when they're more closed, you can barely notice it. That is why I didn't want to do a full design, because I was afraid of that showing through. But I think I can deal with the stripes because there are stripes in that center panel. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Let me know if you've tried this before or any of the projects you find useful around the house. As always, guys, if you found this video useful, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we'd love to have you here at Soul Granny Soul. Thanks all. Have a good day. Bye.